Toxic people will drain your energy, dim your light, and make you question your worth. And if you don't learn how to handle them, they will destroy your peace. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to identify toxic people before they damage you, and the 3 practices that will protect your energy so you can stay grounded no matter who's around you. I used to think I could help everyone. If someone was negative, I'd try to fix them. If someone was draining, I'd give them more of my energy. If someone was manipulative, I'd try to understand why. And I ended up exhausted, anxious, and doubting myself. Because I didn't understand that some people are toxic. Not because they're bad people, but because their energy is incompatible with your peace. And no amount of love or understanding will change that. Then I learned something that saved me. You cannot change toxic people, but you can change how you respond to them. You can set boundaries, you can protect your energy, you can stay in your power even when they're trying to pull you into their chaos. And once I learned how to do that, toxic people stopped having power over me. They could be themselves, and I could be myself, without letting their energy become my energy. Here's what we're covering. First, how to identify toxic people before they drain you. Second, the 3 types of toxic behavior and how each one affects you. And third, the 3 practices that will protect your energy so you can handle toxic people without losing yourself. Let's start with what makes someone toxic. It's not that they're mean or rude. Those people are just unpleasant. Toxic people are different. They don't just annoy you, they destabilize you. They make you doubt yourself. They drain your energy even when they're not trying to. And the relationship leaves you feeling worse, not better. That's the key indicator. After spending time with them, you feel depleted, anxious, confused, or small. That's toxicity. Here's what's happening energetically. Every person has an energetic signature, a frequency they operate at. Some people operate from love, trust, and abundance. Being around them lifts you up. You feel energized, inspired, clear. Other people operate from fear, control, and scarcity. Being around them pulls you down. You feel drained, confused, anxious. They're not doing it on purpose, it's just their frequency. And when your frequency is higher than theirs, being around them is like trying to swim with weights on. You have to work harder just to stay afloat. The problem is most of us were taught to be nice, to give people chances, to see the good in everyone, to never give up on people. And those are beautiful qualities, but they become self-destructive when you apply them to toxic people. Because toxic people don't respond to your kindness the way healthy people do. They don't appreciate your patience, they don't respect your boundaries. They take and take and take. And if you keep giving, you'll have nothing left for yourself. This doesn't make you a bad person for protecting yourself. It makes you wise. It makes you someone who understands that not everyone deserves access to your energy, that your peace matters, that you're allowed to choose who gets your time and attention, and that saying no to toxic people is saying yes to yourself. Now, toxic behavior shows up in 3 main ways. Understanding which type you're dealing with helps you know how to respond. Type 1 is the energy vampire. This person is constantly negative, complaining, catastrophizing, everything is wrong, nothing is ever good enough. They're always the victim. And when you're around them, they dump all their problems on you. They want sympathy, attention, someone to fix things for them. But they never actually take your advice. They just want to stay in the drama. And after talking to them, you feel emotionally exhausted, like they sucked all the life out of you. These people aren't being toxic on purpose. They're stuck in a pattern of learned helplessness. But that doesn't mean you have to absorb their negativity. You can have compassion for them without making their problems your problems. You can listen without taking on their emotional weight. And you can set limits on how much energy you give them. Type 2 is the manipulator. This person uses guilt, shame, or fear to control you. They twist your words, they gaslight you, they make you feel like you're the problem. They play on your empathy and your desire to be a good person. And before you know it, you're doing things you don't want to do, just to avoid their anger or disapproval. You're walking on eggshells. You're constantly second-guessing yourself. And you feel crazy because they make you doubt your own perception. These people are operating from deep insecurity and fear of abandonment. But their healing is not your responsibility. You cannot love them into being healthy. You cannot be so perfect that they stop manipulating you. They will continue this pattern until they decide to heal it. And in the meantime, you need to protect yourself. You need to trust your gut. You need to stop explaining yourself, and you need to get away from them. Type 3 is the projector. This person constantly criticizes you, judges you, makes you feel not good enough. They project their own insecurities onto you. If they feel inadequate, they make you feel inadequate. If they hate themselves, they make you doubt yourself. They're always finding fault, always comparing, always making you feel like you need to prove yourself, and you end up exhausted from trying to earn their approval, which you never get because they don't approve of themselves. These people are deeply wounded. They're trying to feel better about themselves by making others feel worse. But you don't have to participate in that. You don't have to internalize their criticism. You don't have to let their projection become your identity. You can see it for what it is, their pain, not your truth. Now here's how you actually protect yourself from toxic people so they can't drain your energy or destabilize your peace. Practice number 1. Set energetic boundaries, not just verbal ones. Most people think boundaries are about what you say. I won't tolerate this behavior. You can't talk to me that way. And yes, verbal boundaries matter. But with toxic people, energetic boundaries are more powerful. You decide internally, I will not absorb this person's energy. I will not take on their emotions. I will not let their chaos become my chaos. Here's how you do this. Before interacting with a toxic person, take a moment. Close your eyes if you can. Visualize a protective bubble around you. This bubble allows you to be present with them, but it doesn't let their energy penetrate you. You're an observer, not a sponge. You can hear their words without taking them personally. You can witness their emotions without making them your emotions. You're there, but you're protected. During the interaction, if you feel yourself getting pulled into their energy, come back to your breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Remind yourself, this is their energy, not mine. I'm not responsible for fixing them, I'm just here. And when the interaction is over, consciously release any energy you picked up. Shake it off, wash your hands, take a few deep breaths. You're letting go of anything that's not yours. This practice creates an energetic shield. You can be around toxic people without becoming them. You can have compassion without being consumed. And you can protect your peace while still being present. Practice number 2. Stop trying to change them or make them understand. This is where most people get stuck. You keep trying to explain yourself, to make them see your perspective, to get them to change their behavior, and you exhaust yourself trying to be heard by someone who isn't listening. Here's the truth. Toxic people don't change because you explain better. They change when they're ready, which might be never, and that has nothing to do with you. So you stop engaging in circular conversations. You stop defending yourself. You stop trying to get them to validate your feelings. Instead, you accept. This is who they are right now. I cannot change them. I can only control my response. And my response is to protect my energy. This means when they criticize you, you don't argue. You just say, okay, I hear you, and move on. When they try to guilt you, you don't justify. You just say, I understand you're upset, and hold your boundary. When they twist your words, you don't correct them. You just disengage. You're not being cold, you're being wise. You're refusing to play a game you can't win. And here's what happens. When you stop feeding into their patterns, they either change or they fade away. Because toxic people need your reaction. They need your engagement. When you stop giving it to them, the dynamic shifts. Either they start respecting your boundaries or they move on to someone else who will engage. Either way, you win because you're no longer giving your power away. Practice number 3. Limit exposure or remove them completely. This is the hardest one, especially if the toxic person is family, a co-worker, or someone you can't easily avoid. But here's the truth. You're allowed to limit contact with people who harm you. You're allowed to go no contact with people who refuse to respect you. Your peace is more important than their feelings about your boundaries. If you can't remove them completely, you minimize exposure. You keep interactions short. You keep them surface level. You don't share your vulnerabilities with them. You don't invite them into your inner world. You're polite but distant. You're there when you have to be, but you don't go out of your way. You protect your time and energy for people who nourish you, not drain you. And if you can remove them, you do it. Even if it's hard, even if people don't understand, even if you feel guilty. Because staying in toxic relationships out of obligation is self-betrayal. You're choosing their comfort over your well-being. And that's not love, that's self-abandonment. Real love includes loving yourself enough to walk away from what hurts you. Some people will say you're being selfish. Let them. Some people will say you're not trying hard enough. Let them. Some people will say you should forgive and forget. Let them, because they're not the ones absorbing the toxicity. You are, and you get to decide what you allow in your life. Here's what I want you to understand. Handling toxic people isn't about being mean or cold. It's about being clear. Clear on what you will and won't accept. Clear on where your energy goes. Clear on who gets access to you. And that clarity creates safety. Not just for you, but for everyone. Because when you're not drained by toxic people, you have more to give to the people who deserve it. We covered how to identify toxic people. They drain you, destabilize you, make you doubt yourself. We broke down the 3 types: energy vampires, manipulators, and projectors. And we walked through 3 practices to protect yourself. Set energetic boundaries, stop trying to change them, and limit or remove exposure. This isn't about judgment, it's about discernment. It's about honoring yourself enough to protect your peace. It's about understanding that not everyone is meant to be in your life. And that's okay. You can wish them well from a distance. You can send them love without letting them drain you. You can be compassionate without being consumed. So here's your practice for today. Identify one toxic person in your life. Ask yourself, what do I need to protect? Then set one boundary. It could be energetic, visualizing that protective bubble. It could be behavioral, limiting how much you share. It could be physical, reducing contact. Just one boundary. And notice how much lighter you feel when you stop giving your power away. Let me know in the comments, what boundary do you need to set? Who do you need to protect yourself from? You're not alone in this, and you're not wrong for choosing yourself. You deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you up, who respect you, who honor your energy. And if someone can't do that, they don't get to stay close. Welcome to your power. This is where peace lives.